So this is the Quinta de Alorna Tinto from Tejo in Portugal.
Absolutely. Tejo or Tejo is a region northeast of Lisbon. We're below Dow and Douro, but we're above Alentejo. So yeah, sort of middle towards the Atlantic coast. Tiny, tiny little region. Hidden gem, if you like, of Portugal. Not really seen.
It's nice there.
And not really seen and spoke about a huge amount. Big hitting grapes here. Again, it's a blend, as often is in Portugal, just a Tinto blend. We've got international varieties in there. There's probably Touriga in there. There's probably Alicante Bouchette, but it's 40% Syrah. Shiraz, familiar grape for us. It's got Shiraz written all over it. And when Shiraz gets into these sort of warm climates, as it is in Tejo, you get all the red fruit and the dark fruit coming through, but you get that smoky sort of stuff coming through. And for me, this one, a little bit chocolatey. There's a savoury, not sweet chocolate, but like a savoury, cocoa-y sort of thing.
Like the way those crazy Mexicans put chocolate in chili. Oof, that bitterness.
I love a bit of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is Tejo as a region. Again, another big one with a river in it. And any, potamologists out there. Hello. Study of rivers. Potamologists. I probably pronounced it completely wrong, but who knows? They'll already understand. But rivers, especially in Portugal, everyone we've got from Portugal, it's always, it's by this river, it's by that river. They've got quite a big part to play in wine making, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Not just in Portugal, but all over the world. Rivers are really great locations to plant grapes. In the daytime, they reflect sunlight and heat away so that the grapes don't get too hot. In the nighttime, they can hold on to heat for longer. So water takes longer to heat up or cool down than air. So it retains the heat and retains the coolness. So it acts as a sort of mechanism to keep things stable for the grapes to grow in. So rivers are super important for that. Rivers generally tend to be associated with valleys as well in these types of regions. And what you get is winds being channeled down those valleys. And like if you think about like the Mistral in the Côte de Rhône, which is the winds in the Côte de Rhône that go down the Rhône Valley, strong winds, really good for cooling grapes, which is super important, but also like blowing away mold and mildew. So for example, valleys which have heavy winds like the Côte de Rhône or Tejo, they very rarely suffer from rot and mildew because it's like a sort of an air conditioning system going through and blasting that stuff out. What that means is very little need for pesticides and that sort of thing. They can generally operate organically without any pressure. They don't have to bring those pesticides in for that.
Nice. Now, I just did something that I don't regularly do because who really does it? I gave this a little swirl just because I was getting to the end of the glass. And it's teardrops. It's got what is called legs, isn't it? And a lot of people will say to us, "Oh, does legs mean a wine's good quality?" The fact that you shift it around, it will cling to the side and it will form those little teardrops. Legs. Talk to me about legs.
So yeah, legs. They've got nothing to do with quality at all. Nothing to do with quality. So let's put that to bed. Legs, how much the liquid clings to the side of the glass is connected to one thing only, and that's its viscosity or how thick it is. Do you remember doing viscosity at school? There was that equation.
Yeah, I don't I can't even begin to
But anyway, it's how thick the liquid is, and how thick the liquid is going to come down to alcohol content and sugar content. So a wine with legs that's gripping onto the side of the glass and trickling down slowly is going to be generally higher in alcohol and higher in sugar. Now, don't worry. Higher in sugar doesn't mean sweet. We're not talking about sweet wine here by any means. However, if you were drinking a sweet pudding wine, you'd really notice the legs. It would be clinging on like golden syrup. But we're not talking about sweetness. We're talking about a degree of sugar change that really you're not going to notice as sweetness. You're going to just notice it as fruity and full-bodied, essentially. So yeah, this is a full-bodied wine. It's not the most full-bodied wine in the world, but it is full-bodied. And actually, I think it does a really good job of delivering full-bodied flavour without it being a mind blower.
Yeah,
I mean, what we're saying, 13 and a half. Yeah. And again, that comes back to moderating temperatures. If you look at 14.5% from Central Australia, that's sunlight. Whereas we've got the moderating factors here of wind and river, which just calm that down a bit. And what you get is full-bodied red wine, loads and loads of fruity flavour. There's a savoury richness and all that sort of stuff going on, but we're not having our heads blown off.
You said before as well that Tejo is a bit of it's the hidden gem. It's that, but it's also like that bit of like new kid on the block, the hipster, you know, Gen Z, doing things that
Yeah, for sure. I mean, interestingly, this winemaker goes back to the 18th century, but the region and these guys have a reputation for trying new things, for modern winemaking approaches, and generally sustainable winemaking approaches. And so, yeah, Tejo as a region is really cool for experimental wines, for wines that are sort of trying new things in the wine world. So, yeah, if you fancy a bit of a surprise, a bit of something different, give them a go. But equally, don't be scared. Like, I mean, for me, it's 40% Shiraz. It's a very familiar flavour.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is it's got a lot of that familiarity of Shiraz, but it is, you know, there's a bit more going on, but that's from the other stuff. I mean, we know Shiraz, meats, things like that. So is that what you're probably going to go down with this if you were going to have some food with it?
Yes, I guess 13.5% Syrah. There's a smokiness, there's a chocolatiness. I think I would normally say barbecue if Shiraz is on the table. However, there's a deeper richness here, which I think it's got to be something a bit more stewed, a bit more interesting, maybe lamb, or like if you're doing leg of lamb for Sunday lunch, that's slow cooked. Anything slow cooked, I think this would be lovely with.
Nice. Well, I'll put the oven on now.
Cheers.